Hello? Can anyone hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh, she's back.
We kind of got you.
Hello? Hello?
You're back.
Hello? Hello?
We can hear you
Can
now.
you
How long
hear
have you been doing that?
I've been away for so long. I felt like I was dying all the time. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our 11th episode of our podcast, Our 3 Cents. I'm Laura.
I'm Molly.
I'm Bailey. We do this the same every week. Every week it's ABC order.
And we still mess it up.
I was
It's
like,
okay.
it goes
Nothing's
Laura,
changed.
Bailey, then me.
Nope.
And then I was like, nope.
It's alphabetical order even for your pleasure and convenience. Still mess it up. But anyways, today's a fun-filled episode. Or so we think. We have a viewer question. We have a couple controversial topics. So let's get right into it.
Let's do it.
So first off, we're going to ask a question that was sent in by a listener. And we want to thank them for sending it in. We really like audience participation and interaction. So the question is, between the three of us, who would win in a fight?
Okay, hang on.
And I just want to take a quick poll.
Hang on. Okay, yeah. Everyone think of your answer, and then we'll all say it on 3.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, yeah.
Well,
I'm going to say this is like a...
okay, yeah, I'm ready. Laura, are you ready?
Yes. 3, 2, 1...
Laura.
Molly. Okay. Laura.
Wow.
Laura was who I waffled with. I almost said Laura.
I have size on both of y'all. So.
But Molly,
Well, I just know Laura's very aggressive. She has hit me multiple times.
That's
and
you know
it
what?
has
That's
hurt.
true. I
That's
didn't
true.
take that into
and
account.
I don't know my own strength. So
yeah.
like I would if I actually got mad at somebody and wanted to hit them, I don't know what kind of strength would come out.
Yeah.
Because when I hit people jokingly,
yes.
I hurt them.
Yes,
so.
she does.
I don't think I know my own strength either. Like, I've never been in a situation where, like, I feel like I need to, like, really unleash my anger. But I have a lot of pent-up anger. So.
See, I chose Molly for her sports advantage. Just for her, like, frisbee.
Yeah, she's agile.
Yeah.
I would get very tired very quickly. I'm like a cheetah. I could only do it for, like, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then I'd have to stop. And I feel like Molly could outlast.
Yeah, so...
Sorry, Bailey. You
No,
yeah.
No, that's right.
Bailey would break... somebody would break Bailey within, like, 5 seconds.
Bailey would just walk away.
I don't know,
like,
Molly...
I don't need this.
Do y'all remember that time that me and Molly were, like, fighting over something? Like, I was either trying to keep Molly from grabbing it, or she was trying to keep me from grabbing it.
Yeah,
I lasted
you do have a really
time.
strong grip.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has a really... It's because she has such large hands.
Yes, I do. My hands are
She has,
massive.
like, large hands. And
long
her
arms.
nails are always so pointed.
Mm-hmm.
And so if she pinched you, it would hurt like hell.
And I could outrun
and
you guys.
In the wrong place, you would go down.
So we all carry our own strengths and weaknesses, but overall, Laura would probably take
Laura
both
would probably
of us.
dominate.
We should test that, though, next time we're all together.
Yeah,
fight.
let's just wrestle,
We're not
Molly.
gonna
Let's just
do
do the
that.
wrestling podcast.
I think you guys would want to take some
Our
punches
50th
at me.
If we get to a certain number of listens,
certain number of
we will
listens.
wrestle.
20,000 downloads.
Someone starts playing it
Or
on repeat
followers.
just to get us to fight.
Yeah. And it's one of us because we have like pent up anger at the other. Like, no, Molly just pissed me off. Let me go listen to this episode a few times.
8 million times.
8 million likes.
If we get like a lot of subscriptions,
Yeah.
we'll fight.
Well, we could always
ever
do the
become
clickbait
famous.
titles, like
If we ever become famous, we'll fight.
if we ever become
What is
famous.
famous?
Yeah.
Though? If we get our first sponsorship, we'll fight.
Yes. Who would you want to? This is my question now. Who do y'all want to sponsor the pod? Now that we're 11 episodes in, we can have sponsors. So, who do y'all want as a sponsor?
Is that a rule?
No, it's not. It's not a rule.
I don't know.
Target.
Target would be good.
Target would be good.
We've already mentioned them on the podcast. So,
We have.
when you were talking about your
Disney
Target
World.
run and left turns.
Oh, yeah.
So Target, if you're listening, hit us up.
Okay. So, on to the next topic. In current events lately, we feel like everyone has heard the scandal about the Roseanne show on ABC and how they canceled it because of a racist tweet that the main character, Roseanne, tweeted out. And there's been some backlash from both sides, liberal and conservative, and we wanted to put our 3 cents into the mix. So, Bailey, you want to start us out?
Yeah, because I wanted to talk about how everyone was like, "Oh, but what about Michelle Wolf when she insulted Sarah Huckabee Sanders? That's the same thing. The liberal media didn't care about that." Exactly.
Do you have the tweet up? Why don't you read the tweet?
Yeah, but see, I don't even know what Roseanne said.
Yeah, well,
Molly doesn't keep up with current events, so it's okay.
I'm the person who reads the headlines and then doesn't click on the article. So like, I know something's going on, but I don't know exactly what it is. I was like, oh, hey, did you hear about blah, blah, blah? Yeah,
I did hear about that.
That's the end of the conversation.
The worst type of media consumer. She tweeted, like the tweet said, Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes had a baby equals, and then this woman.
Ooh.
So,
yeah.
Not good, very insensitive, uncalled for, unacceptable.
Okay.
ABC responded rather blatantly that Bob Iger actually put out a statement that said, we don't condone this activity and we don't condone hate speech and other things like that, and canceled the show. Yeah, it was just things like this have been happening for far too long. People say things like that for far too long without any punishment, without any consequence, and not trying to sound insensitive, but she probably had no idea that anything was going to happen, and the only reason she apologized was because something happened, because people in power say things like that every day, and nothing happens to them, and no one cares. And so I don't believe her apologies. I don't believe her. I was not for this reboot of her show anyways. She has done multiple racist things in the past. She did a whole photo shoot where she was dressed as Hitler, and she was putting broken gingerbread cookies into an oven.
What? Yeah, Molly, look at those pictures right now.
Questionable things. And in the show, it was all the same characters, except one of her daughters had a child, or her son had a child with a black woman who was in the army, and so the child was biracial, and they took that opportunity to hit on some more liberal topics, and they would poke fun at some conservative topics. Like I did see an episode of the reboot, and it was them stereotyping their Muslim neighbors and talking about how they're probably going to blow us up, and very stereotypical racist things. And then in the end of that episode, like the synopsis, the moral is like, don't judge a book by its cover. Muslims aren't all bad, but it was like just bare minimum enough to get by with not being racist that episode. And it was just like, I don't know, the episode was just like, y'all are trying so hard to not be racist when it's so easy to not be racist.
Can I read?
Sounds weird.
Can I read what Michelle Wolf said?
Yes.
She's talking about Sarah
Who's Michelle Wolf?
Michelle Wolf was the comedian who hosted or did the little stand-up at the White House Correspondents' Dinner last month, and she's referring to
who made the
yes, and talking about Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who is the not Speaker of the House, press person. I can't think of the title. She says, I really like Sarah. I think she's very resourceful. Like, she burns facts, and then she uses that ash to create a perfect smoky eye. Like, maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's lies. It's probably lies. And so, for some reason, people thought that was the same reason as Roseanne calling a woman the cross between Planet of the Apes and the Muslim Brotherhood. And so, I just really wanted to talk about why people are wrong, I guess.
Samantha Bee's comment about Ivanka Trump. Did you see that?
Yes, that apparently just happened, last night on Samantha Bee's show?
Yeah, I think so. She
called her a something C word.
I can't remember what it was either. I actually read that one, but well, it was a picture, so I didn't really have to like click on an article or anything. I'm like a child. It's fine. But yeah, they were calling for her show to get canceled too, because they were like, this is the same thing as like Roseanne, just again, the other way around.
It's not though. Calling someone a C
word. It's not racist, but it's still rude. And I don't think like it's not the same thing, but like celebrities should be accountable when they shit talk people like that.
See, okay, I think the thing that we're dealing with right now, I don't even know what y'all are talking about with the Ivanka Trump thing, but the thing that we're dealing with now is on each side, each party plays a role. It's fine to say whatever you want about the other until something's said about you, and then everybody gets all up in arms. Like, we spent 8 years, or liberals spent 8 years watching Michelle Obama be called a monkey and be called man-arms and whatever. When 8 years before that, the Bush's daughters were called sluts, and they were called all these horrible names because they went on spring break one year. And when you're in power, you just kind of have to assume that you're gonna get shit on by people who don't like you and people who don't agree with you. So right now, what is happening is that we spent a whole election cycle watching our current president call Hillary Clinton and Hillary Clinton's daughter and her husband and the whole Democratic Party awful things, and people within the Democratic Party awful things, and never be held accountable. And liberals were called whiny and were called snowflakes because we took offense and different things like that. And now retaliation is happening, and things are happening within media and within politics and at dinners that are supposed to be important and serious. And it's now this, who can say the worst thing and get away with it. And if you get away with it, then I have the right to claim that that's not right and that your show deserves to be canceled or whatever. And if you're going to dish it, you got to be able to, in my opinion, you got to be able to take it back. But when it goes from it's not simple. What people were saying about the Bush daughters and Michelle Obama, and what people say about Hillary Clinton, and what people have said about Trump's family, some of them are not right, but they're not racist. Some of the time,
right?
It crosses a line, in my opinion, when you cross over to racist, or you're questioning something that no one can change. When it's not, there is a difference between a joke that's in all fun that you can get offended by, but it really didn't mean anything, and something racist and something cruel and something unacceptable.
Right,
and I think that Roseanne's was.
Yeah, people are trying to make this, I think, as Roseanne was insulting and Michelle Wolf was insulting, so the same consequences should happen.
So same, they were both insulting
somebody. Right, when Roseanne was insulting someone racistly, Michelle Wolf, she actually responded later like, I don't know why you guys are mad. I said she creates the perfect smoky eye. I was complimenting her makeup, which one she is. And then, so the only thing you can get mad about is her calling her a liar, which is not racist, sexist, anything like that, and is also like provably true. So for me, I just
like character traits being taken and being joked about, and calling Trump a liar or calling Hillary crooked. There's nothing wrong with those two things. We might think they're wrong or right or whatever, but there's nothing wrong with them. You can get offended by them, and you can try to argue that they're wrong.
Yeah.
But when you start attacking somebody and calling a black person a monkey, or saying that she is like the Muslim Brotherhood had a baby with Planet of the Apes, that's not right, and you can't do that, and you must face consequences, because we have to stop accepting that as free speech and treating it like hate speech and as a hate crime, which it truly is.
Yeah, I agree.
Can I talk about my other thing that confused me? So I saw this tweet later when Roseanne was kind of dealing with the backlash. It was a reply to somebody. It looks like it was just yesterday. She said, I guess they were referring to her comments, and Roseanne replied, stop saying that. It was insensitive, not racist. Which brings me to the broader question of, why do people get so mad about being called racist, especially when they're being racist? Like, if someone called me racist, I'd be hurt by it, but I'd be like, oh, what am I doing to make them think I'm being racist? Not, you can't call people racist. That's insulting. Like, that's... I think
Is that what she's saying, or does she just not want to be called a racist?
I don't know what Roseanne is saying.
Because, I mean, like, if somebody tells me I'm a racist, my natural... I'm not saying, like, you're insulting me. I'm saying, like, I'm going to try to defend myself. Like, I'm not a racist. What I said in my opinion, wasn't racist. Like, why do you think it's racist?
I just feel I saw that.
I feel like Molly's natural reaction is most people's natural reaction because in the area that we were brought up in, and in a majority of the country that we live in, being called a racist is worse than being racist in people's minds.
That's what I was just about to say.
Because there are people that I know who are actively racist, who say racist things on a daily basis. But the moment I say that they're saying racist things,
like,
or
yes,
you're a racist, they get so offended, and they're more offended by what I just said than by what they've been saying.
Because it's like, I know who's racist. It's not me. That's another thing. It's like, growing up where we grew up, there are very racist people, and they're very obvious about it.
But I mean, like,
that's what I was trying to say, is that there's such dynamic, extreme examples of racism that as long as you don't reach that stage, you're not technically a racist. You haven't lynched anybody, and I haven't gone out in my Ku Klux Klan uniform, and I haven't done this and that. When,
exactly.
No. That's not what makes a racist.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who judge people based on their skin color, judge people based on their religion, judge people based on a number of things that, like, you don't have to own up to it, but I'm gonna call you out, and you can argue and say whatever, but
that's like, I feel like
you fit the bill if the shoe fits.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are talking about how, like, oh, you caused the Nazis because you're just calling everybody who disagrees with you racist or sexist. Like, some people are being really racist right now, but I feel like people are so mad at people who are calling Roseanne racist right now, which, like, she did a racist thing. She didn't just do an insensitive thing. Like, she wasn't just being mean. It was a racist thing.
And I'm not even like disqualifying anything anybody else does, but this isn't her first offense. This wasn't, like, she said in one of the articles that I'm not a racist, I'm an idiot.
Okay.
Nope.
That's admitting it, but not wanting to have the label of racist.
Yeah. You're just playing dumb, so it is an excuse for your actions.
Yeah.
And you can't play dumb and call yourself an idiot and discredit yourself when you also want to give yourself credit for so many accomplishments that you've gotten in your life. And this wasn't her first mistake. She has done this numerous times with different platforms, and I'm over it. And I'm over putting up with it and watching other people just accept it and then argue about it later. And, like, I've seen so many people today and yesterday trying to, like, vie for and petition for Fox to pick it up, Fox to pick Roseanne up. And it's like, of course, you all want Fox to pick it up. Like,
because they lost Brooklyn Nine-Nine, so they got to replace their schedule.
They got to replace it. So.
Okay. That's all I wanted to talk about, was how racist people confuse me.
We are not pro-racist.
We are not pro-racist. Hey, let's do a quick assessment. What are we pro? We're pro-alien. We're pro-ghost. I think we're pro-something else, but we are not pro-racist. We are anti-racist, I dare say.
Anti-racist. We have a long list of pros that we are on this podcast. But we are not pro-racist.
We are not pro-racist.
Or sexist.
No. Not pro...
Or any of the...
None of the ists, but we're starting the list with racist because we're talking about it right now.
We'll talk about sexism at a later date.
Well, I think they know our feelings about sexism. I think we've made that clear.
Yes. But yeah, so don't be racist, guys. Racists are ugly.
Don't be racist.
Moral of the story? Don't be a racist.
Racist people are ugly people. It's a proven fact.
I like that. I like having a nice little bow we can tie it up with. And I also like that bow just being don't be racist, because, like, it seems like such a simple bow, and yet...
Doesn't it? But people can't figure it out. But onto a more lighthearted, I hope, a lighthearted topic that Molly's been dying to talk about. We're going to talk about, probably Molly's going to talk about the butterfly effect for the next 40 minutes, so buckle up. Molly, you want to start us off?
No, Molly. No. I'm stopping Molly now. You are not allowed to talk about this until you explain what it is.
I was literally about to say, let me define it
Good. Laura
first.
had to explain.
Do you have a definition, or are you thinking of this in your head?
I have my definition of what's the butterfly effect in simple terms, but I'm Googling it right now.
Thank God.
Laura had to define the Berenstein Bear thing that I can't remember its real name. Mandela effect.
Mandela effect.
So you got to do the butterfly effect.
Okay, are we ready for this? Okay, the butterfly effect is the phenomenon whereby a minute localized change in a complex system can have large effects elsewhere. In simpler terms, I like to think that this means that one small decision, choice, action in your life ends up changing the whole course of your life as you know it, and you don't even know it whenever you do it. Mind-blowing.
So, Molly, what is it about this that makes you so obsessed with it?
It's just the way it affected my life. Like,
you just said you didn't know it affected you, so are you about to contradict yourself?
No, I mean, like, you don't know it when you make that decision. You don't know at the time that it's going to affect you.
So it's like a hindsight, like you just think, kind of.
Yeah, like you're just like, oh, I'm gonna do this thing today. Like basically, like all the little small details that led to you making that somewhat. It might not have been a big decision, but a decision to begin with, and how that decision changed your life. Like, okay, so for me, for example, Frisbee has changed my life. The fact that I even somehow started playing Frisbee is mind-blowing.
Well, you call it ultimate Frisbee, so you don't sound like you're just like in a park, just like tossing a disc.
Sure, yeah, ultimate Frisbee.
I want people to know you're sporty and athletic.
Is the sport I play, yeah. But like how I'm not an athletic person. Like, I mean, I played every sport known to man.
But she's not athletic, you guys. This is another thing.
But I sucked at all of them. And I suck at ultimate Frisbee, but I still play it. But like once I got to college, I was like, oh, no more sports for me. I'm done. Like I like to think that the key factors was the fact that I was dropping my sorority at the time. One of my friends from high school played on the team, which is also random in itself because like she wasn't that into it in high school. So it was very random that she played it in college. And then one of my soon-to-be best friends also played on the team, and she also encouraged me to go out there. And
you knew her before?
Yeah, I knew her before Frisbee. We were in the same French class. And I actively
was I in this French class?
Went out of my way to be her friend. I was like, I want to be that girl's friend.
She's one of the most amazing people
she looks
on the planet.
Cool, and I was right. So, good decision making on my part. And then
for once,
yeah. And so yeah, like just doing those, being in contact with those people got me to join the ultimate Frisbee team. And then I like made a ton of new best friends through that. I got a job because of it. I live in Atlanta because of it. Like my whole life changed in the course of just 2 years just because I decided to go play ultimate Frisbee.
Gosh, what if you had stuck with the swim team? What would have happened?
Right?
Swim boys.
But like, it's just crazy to think how different my life would have been if I like. And the people, I wouldn't have had the people in my life that I do now. Like, there's a whole other friend group that I would have missed out on had I not joined the Ultimate Frisbee team. And I'm writing a book about that. A short story. Short story, if you will, because I can't put my thoughts into words.
About your Ultimate
Molly
Frisbee
has
experience?
Many book ideas and movie ideas, so look out for that in, like, 2082.
See, I think this is why I don't like talking about the butterfly effect, because I have a lot of anxiety about the future and choices and stuff. So it's like, oh, well, it's like reverse butterfly effect. Like if I don't step on the right butterfly, my future isn't going to be like in this certain way. And like, I know that's not the right motive for making decisions, but when you're like, oh, Molly did Frisbee and then she did this and this and now she has this job, so I got to do this.
Yeah, but I don't ever think about it like that. Like when I'm making decisions, I don't ever think about how they're going to really like. But I don't like usually.
You don't think about the consequences of your actions. Yes, we know.
No, not usually. So I don't know. I mean, and like it's cool to think about, like with y'all too, like how, like I love thinking about it in the way whenever you meet somebody and how you, like at that time you don't think like anything's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But then, like with Laura, for for instance, like her and Sam, like they're getting married. So.
Yeah, what if Laura had never transferred schools? She would have never met Sam. Oh no, she's frozen again.
Yeah.
I thought she was just very intently looking in on her phone.
And then, like, you and William, like, I don't know exactly how you two came to be, but, like...
Film club.
And
eating at the same place for lunch all the time. And living in the same apartment. We, like, randomly had lots of paths cross.
See?
Yeah.
Like, those three things, like... Isn't that wild? Like, film club's so random, too. Like, the fact that, like, you guys both ended up joining that.
Yeah.
And then you started running into each other all over the place, like...
Yes. Have you read the short story by Ray Bradbury called A Sound of Thunder?
No.
This was kind of my, like, introduction to the butterfly effect. Wikipedia said is miscredited as the origin of the term because it does deal with, like, a literal butterfly. But it's about, so it takes place in the future, and the story is about a guy who goes on a hunting trip in the past, and the hunting, like, company has found, like, okay, here's this T-Rex, it's about to get crushed by a tree and die. So we're gonna let you hunt it and kill it, and then it gets crushed by the tree. We take the bullets. We don't, like, leave any footprints, but you still get to hunt this T-Rex. But this guy, he gets, like, scared. He runs off the path. He steps on a butterfly. And then when they go back to the future, lots of, like, stuff has changed, all because he just strayed off the path, like, just a little bit. Like, the election has changed. I read the summary earlier, so I could remember. But I read that in middle school, and I was like, oh, yeah. And so, like, that's been my association with the butterfly effect.
That stuff is so wild to me, like, because, I mean, like, I think about, like, time traveling, too, you know, like,
yeah, time travel
into the past, you do one,
complex.
like, small thing, and, like, you could change the whole, like, because people ask me, like, if you go back and change, like, one thing, what would it be? And I was like, honestly,
like, yeah,
like,
we talked about that, like...
Yeah, nothing, because I'm afraid of how things would turn out now, like, I like the way things are now, like...
There's also another movie... I watched it in one of my classes in college, and it was essentially this disease, this horrible disease gets taken around the planet and kills over half the population because of one simple act of, like, somebody wasn't paying attention, but it was, like, very easy, and it could have been corrected.
Yeah.
And it kills all these people because of one simple thing, and, like, my teacher started talking about the butterfly effect and how all your decisions have consequences, and all your actions have consequences and everything, but... It's a good movie. Find it.
Well, that's like, I feel like it's a kind of like popular hypothetical situation with the question, if you could time travel and travel back in time to kill Hitler, would you? Because if you did that, you would directly stop millions of deaths, but then, like, who would rise up that might be worse to replace Hitler, or, like, who maybe died in, like, World War II that would later become some other, like, terrible person. So, like, time travel, and you gotta be guys, don't be racist. Be careful when you're time traveling.
We are pro time travel. Just, you gotta be careful.
I don't know if I'm pro time travel.
So would y'all change anything if you could go back in time?
No, because of the butterfly effect.
But just pretend that, like... things would still be the way they were when you got back. Like, if you could change something, what would it be?
I want to hit on the butterfly effect really quick, because I was frozen.
Oh, yes, please do.
Go ahead, give us your thoughts.
I have the kind of feelings that Bailey also does, but I'm more of a, like, right now I'm unemployed, and I'm not doing anything, and all I can think about is all the biographies I read, like, a year and a half ago, of all of these, like, super influential women who are, like, doing really good right now, but they didn't get their big break until they were 30, and it was because they didn't take jobs that they, like, that would have been the safe route, or they didn't do this or that.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, maybe that's what I'm holding out for. But then the other part of me is like, what if I don't take something and it could have, like, or should I have done something else in college? Like, if I had done a different major in college, would I be super successful now? Or
right.
If I hadn't chosen a major that made me study abroad and was a 5-year program, would I have been living somewhere else now? Like, things like that. And in high school, like, things that I chose, is that why I ended up the way I am now? Like, the decisions that you made that you can't trace back is what bothers me. Because, like, Molly can definitely trace back part of her life to Frisbee.
Yes.
And, like, me and Molly are together because of 80 Pie. And, like, this is happening because we met in 80 Pie because somehow we both ended up in the same pledge class, in the same sorority, at the same school. So, like, we can trace some things back, but, like, what decision determined why I'm unemployed now? Or what decision determined why I went to Paris? Or, like, like the untraceable decisions are the ones that kind of get me, because it's like,
I feel like that
how do I know?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I feel like that lends itself easily to, like, regret. And, like, oh, what if I had done this? Maybe this would have happened. Well, I shouldn't have done this. When really,
so that's what I'm
you just
facing
don't
now.
know.
And, like, the big decisions where you're like, I chose international business and then I chose the French track, so obviously I was going to go to Paris. Like, there's some things that you can just look at and see that you made decisions because you knew something was going to happen in the future and you just kept trying. But, like, what decision am I making today that's going to affect me 20 years from now? Like, the smallest thing today, or, like, and is it going to be for the better or worse? And am I ever even going to know? And things like that, kind of.
Right. And then you have all the things that are out of your control.
Because well, that's the thing, it totally is. And we don't know until it's already happened. Because, like, me and Molly didn't know each other going into 80 Pie.
Right.
When we got into it, we didn't know each other. We waited a whole year and a half before we even started talking.
Yeah.
And then we decided to be roommates, and then this happened. So it's not even like this was an active thing going on. I had known Molly less than a semester before I asked her to move in with me. So it was like,
I still thought that you knew each other a lot better than you revealed to me last week.
I knew your friend really well because we were in the same bump group in recruitment.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
To explain that, it's unimportant.
What?
It's unimportant. Like, we were in the same, like, little group during recruitment. And so, got to know her. We had a class together the week after recruitment because that's when school started. We started studying together with this other girl in our class. And, like, I'm not close to that other girl, but that's when me and Molly started getting close. So, me, Molly, and this other girl in our business finance class started getting really close. I could be best friends with that other girl right now, but I'm not. And why?
Wow.
Why did, like, life...
She could have been our other host.
Because I'm so charismatic and lovable.
That's it.
She has such a magnetic personality.
We actually just, like, fooled around and, like, jacked off. Not jacked off.
What? I was going to say you fooled around with
Slacked off. During
there's that cold open.
Our study sessions and annoyed the other girl a lot. And so she did really well in the class and me and Molly did subpar.
We copied her the majority of the time. That's what made me change my major, was that class.
But, like, I don't know why, but, like, we started, like, going to lunch and listening to One Direction. And then I asked her to move in with me. I left, and from, like, our tweets, because they keep popping up this semester, because, like, this is the semester that I left for Disney, our tweets together would seem like we had been best friends for years, when we had not.
Okay, well, I'm glad y'all were fast friends.
And that's just, like... But just, like, things like that, like, why did life choose Molly? And why did life choose me? And what did I do to, like... make it Molly and not that other girl.
Yeah, see, isn't this stuff, like, exciting? Like,
yeah, I feel like it's fun to trace
it
back.
To get into that exact finance class. I could have been in any finance class, any 80 Pie, and it was Molly and this other girl.
And that's another thing, like, you did not know at the time when you picked that time for the finance class that
you were even in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I would just pick a class and just assume that 80 Pies were going to be in it, and then I would sit with them because they were just easy, and we lived in the same house.
Right. Yeah, I feel like it's fun to let's trace some stuff back to kind of lighten up the mood a little bit.
When I started going to art class at Sweeties,
yes,
and I met you, and you knew Colleen.
No,
and we would send notes back and forth.
Oh well, yes. So we had a mutual friend, but I only started going to that art class because of my neighbor across the street went before I did.
Yeah.
So, like, what if we hadn't moved into this house when we moved up to this area? Or what if my dad hadn't got a job up here and we didn't move up to this area at all?
And the only reason we became really close is because we hated the same girl and had a mutual friend.
Wait,
Bailey hated somebody?
In the class, I remember. Yeah, talking about you.
So the only reason, and then after... being friends with Bailey for, like, probably 2.5 years, and going and seeing Bailey every Saturday almost.
Mm-hmm.
And
in band, yeah.
Nope.
No?
For art. I was never in band.
Oh, I thought you were talking about later with Sam. Sorry.
No. Going and seeing Bailey every Saturday for art, knowing this girl who I went to church with, who knew Bailey because she went to Hernando, I now knew 2 people at Hernando, and I was like, oh, I can just move now. And so in 6th grade, I was just like, why not? And so I moved to Hernando because I knew this girl for like one Saturday each month or something.
I was charismatic too.
And so I went to Hernando, and now, like, 12 years later, we're still friends.
Yes, and you met your fiance, which was something.
And I met my fiance because I went to Hernando because of Bailey. This shit is crazy.
I hooked up you and Sam.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, let me tell you a story about my friends. My friends that got married this past weekend. She met the guy in a bar. He had originally, like, tried to talk to her, but she wasn't really interested, so he just bought her a drink, and then he left her alone.
And he went back to his friends.
Guys, smart.
Take note. That's what you do.
Yeah, and so, but then this other guy comes up to her and starts, like, hitting on her, and she is very picky, so that's why she already turned away the first guy. And so this guy was, like, driving her up the wall, so she was like, I don't want to talk to him, but she's, like, too polite. In a sense, like, she's very, like, sarcastic, dry humor, so, like, she could be like, oh, leave me alone, and, like, the guy would think she was kidding. And so her friend that was out with her, one of our roommates, grabbed the first guy who just bought her a drink and left and was like, hey, will you go get her away from that guy? And he was like, she doesn't like me, like, she doesn't want me to talk to her, like, she blew me off whenever I bought her a drink. Our roommate was like, no, like, please, like, she doesn't like this guy at all, like, just get him to, like, back off. And so he, like, walks over to the guy and is like, this is my girlfriend, leave her alone.
That's a good guy.
Like, gets the guy to go away.
I'm glad they got married.
And so they start, yeah, right? And so they start talking, and then, like, he ends up coming back to our apartment, and I'm like, who is this guy? And my other roommate's like, I have no idea. Like, he just talked to her at the bar, and now he's here. And I'm like, okay. And, like, now they're married. So, like,
I'm like, okay.
It's so weird. Like, if, like, our roommate hadn't, like, made him go talk to her again.
Or if he hadn't, like, bought her a drink to begin with, there would have been no one to intervene between her and the other guy.
Or if he had acted like a jerk, like, acted like the second guy, and been pushy and, like, whatever, they would have probably left.
Or if the pushy guy had come earlier, they might have left before the husband even got a chance to go talk to her. See, this is more fun than, like, being anxious about the future.
Yeah.
This is why I like this stuff.
Yeah. So, like, it's really cool in theory to trace back, like, good things that have happened.
Yeah.
Or, like, because I had never put the connection together that if I didn't meet Bailey, I would never have met Sam.
Till just now. That's right.
Till just now.
Matchmaker. That's right.
See, isn't that wild?
So that's weird. And also, it's like, it goes deeper than just meeting Bailey, because Bailey and my other friend who we were mutually friends with were in band, and so I started hanging out with the band kids all the time. And I knew Sam because I parked by the band kids, and I hung out with the band kids, and so we had always, like, hung out in the same circle because I only hung out with band kids. And if Bailey hadn't been in band, or like,
if I had played a different instrument and not been friends with our mutual friend.
Oh yeah.
Like, I was really.
It would have been like it.
When we did our little test, I scored highest on the flute, but I was like, I don't want to play the flute. I want to play the clarinet. So I chose to do that. And if my grandpa hadn't have been a band director that they knew, maybe I wouldn't have gotten away with that. Maybe I would have to play the flute.
Yes. So, and, like, there's just other stuff, like, because I don't know if Molly knows the story. I feel like Bailey probably does, but when I was in, Molly probably also does. When I was in, Molly definitely does. When I was in 9th grade. The listeners
don't, though, so it's okay.
The listeners don't. When I was in 9th grade, I knew Sam and told one of his friends that was a girl that I really liked him, and that she should, like, tell him and that we should date. And we were in 9th grade. And so she gave him my number, and we texted for, like, an hour after school one time, and then he said he took a nap, and he never texted me back. And I was hurt, and I hated him, and I, like, spent the next 2.5 years, like, not caring, and, like, we still hung out together and we still had the same friends and I still hung out with band kids, but we weren't close. And then we started dating senior year. But if we had dated ninth grade year, like me and Sam talked about this, we would not be together if we had dated in ninth grade year.
No, wait.
I would have broken up with him probably in the same semester.
You didn't tell the punchline of the story, though.
Oh, he woke up senior year and texted me back.
No.
Oh my
I meant that you got so mad because you thought he was brushing you off, but Sam was just genuinely taking a nap.
Oh, yeah. He actually took naps. Like, I thought when he told me that he was going to take a nap that he was, like, lying and he really did not want to talk to me that much. And so I said, okay, like, sweet dreams or something, trying to be flirty. And he never texted me, and I was like, wow, this asshole. Like, you could have just said, no, you didn't have to text me. And then when we started actually being closer, and I, like, told him this senior year, he was like, you know, I actually took a nap. And I was like, who the hell takes naps when you're 15? Who takes naps? You don't need naps when you're 15. It's a point of contention. It still is in our relationship. I still can't take naps. And he does love to take a nap. But we would definitely not be together if we started dating.
Timing is everything, so don't screw anything up ever.
Yes.
Exactly.
So, I guess from this episode, we gathered that I would win in a fist fight. Don't be a racist.
Don't be racist.
And also, pay attention to every decision you ever make because it will have lasting impacts for the rest of your life. So good luck and
no
goodbye.
pressure.
Thank you again for joining us on our 11th episode. Please feel free to email us at ourthreecentspod@gmail.com. Tweet us and DM us at ourthreecentspod on Twitter. And again, thank you to Kevin MacLeod for our intro music. And yeah, this has been a great episode. I'm Laura.
I'm Molly.
I'm Bailey. Goodbye.
Bye.